last week we hit a follower goal. 25 new followers was the target we hit, and we got it. And so we did a new segment on this show called Monster Mash. You can see the little beholder dude down in the corner here just wiggling, waiting for more followers. Yeah, and what that segment was as a group, as a community, we came up with a cool natural predator for a classic Dungeons & Dragons monster. And in our situation, we picked the Beholder, which was a very interesting and exciting kind of first foray into this little experiment. It was very, very cool. And we ended up coming up with a very, very exciting monster called the Shimmywanga. And that's what we're gonna talk about today. And more than that, a member of our community, Frosty Pirate, also lurking in the chat right now, decided to take it upon themselves to try and make a version as well, which they've called the Dream Eater Shade. So I'm very excited to see what you came up with, Frosty. Oh yeah, no, we're putting yours up here, Frosty. You shared it in the Discord, so of course we're gonna show them off a little bit. So I'm excited to see what the difference is. Such a it seems like a very small prompt, the predator for a beholder, but it's just you could go in any direction for it, and I'm really excited to see where it went. Interesting and exciting is in the eye of the beholder. It's fair. I'm flipping out your volumes back. I'm glad. I'm wondering, do we have options, quality settings? We do. Twitch hasn't betrayed us today. After you're going to draw the Shimmywanga, I would love to hear and to see what you come up with for what the Shimmywanga looks like. It's very, very cool. Well, let's just dive into so here, oops, I can't type. Here's the D&D Time website, and I just go to dndtime.stream, #Shimmywanga. And when I do that, it will bring us right here to our first Monster Mash document. We took the time to pretty it up and give them a nice stat block. And yeah, let's just go over a little bit what we came up with for this monster. So it is a natural predator for the beholder. And we decided to really dive into some weird beholder lore, and that beholders, one of the cool things about them, so they are one of these boys. Whoops. This is a beholder. It's a terrifying, toothy meatball with lots of little eyes sticking off of them. And we decided to go through the weird lore with those guys, where they can dream things into reality. They're paranoid, and they're very self-centered creatures, beholders. And through their dreams, they can manifest things into reality. So they can manifest other beholders, they can manifest minions, they can dream strange shapes and forms into their lair. They can do all sorts of very cool stuff. And so we created a monster that preyed on that specific aspect of them, the ability to dream things into existence. And that is the Shimmywanga. So the Shimmywanga, it has kind of the appearance of like a mandrill. I think it's an ape technically. It might be a monkey. I'm not positive. But it has the appearance of kind of a long, slender, upright, bipedal mandrill. But it has these large peacock wings, which it wears around its shoulders, kind of like a mantle. Angstaza wants a link in the chat. Of course, that would have been a smart thing for me to do. There you go. Thank you so much for the reminder there. Now everyone can follow along. And those wings are kind of resplendent and colorful, kind of like peacock wings. And the idea is those wings are a tapestry of dreams that these fey tricksters steal from other creatures. And the lore that we created for this creature is that they once resided in the Feywild, but after stealing the dreams of a powerful archfey, they were tricked into the abstract realm of dream space itself, where that archfey dreamt that they might never leave. And so they were banished from the Feywild and stuck now eternally in this dreamscape. And that's why they hunt the beholder, is they're looking for powerful spellcasters or beholders, right, that can make things from their dreams into reality. And so that's the direction we went with these guys. And I'm loving where we came out with the Shimmywanga. So we got our stat block down here. And this was all statted out kind of in between the shows by Pete and myself. But it's based on everything that we talked about in the last episode. So if you want to kind of see the creative process that went into creating this creature, you can just check the VOD. Featherfail, I love the name. I recently made a race of wholesome fake creatures called Fluffins. You see, the Shimmywanga would have stolen the dreams of those poor innocent Fluffins, and that's why they would be banished. So, that's all I got. Featherfail, if you actually have, like, I don't know if you do that on, like, D&D Beyond or GM Binder, or even just, like, making scratch notes or whatever. I think a lot of people would really be into seeing those. If you want to jump on our Discord, you can just go onto our website, dndtime.stream, and hit the Discord button, and that'll bring you right onto our Discord. And if you wanted to share your stuff there, I'm sure people would love to see them. They sound very cute. If you want to tell us a bit more about them in chat. Also, it sounds to me like we've had a new arrival. Is that Pete that I hear?
Hi, I'm here. My video's working perfectly this time. I think.
Whoa,
I hope.
it's Peter.
Hi, sorry I was late again. This will be the last time this happens, I think. Asterisk, probably. But I'm here, and Jeremy, I was listening to you talking about the Shimmywanga. I also am really happy with how the Shimmywanga ended up coming out.
Yeah. But
okay,
I'm very
I thought
happy
for a second
with
I
this.
couldn't. I thought for a second that I couldn't be heard.
No, we hear you. I was just goofing.
Okay, good.
It's very cool. It's I'll tell you what we finally came around to in the end. It is a fey being, obviously chaotic evil in nature. It's got some basic stats. The big things that are really interesting about it is it has some skill proficiencies in like deception and insight, and of course resistance to psychic damage and the like. The thing that's really cool is its dazzling mantle, that cape or kind of mantle of dreams that it wears, which stuns a creature if they fail a saving throw and can see the Shimmywanga. Where do I put the stat block since I can't go into the Discord, even if it even exists? Oh, you can get into the Discord, Featherfail. Let me get you a link for that. Pete, you wanna? I mean, are you all up to?
Yeah, I'm up to code. Link to the Discord we're looking for right now.
Yeah. Oh, I just put one in chat. I was wondering. Either of those should work. Featherfail.
The next feature, the Dreamstalker feature, which I think it was called Dreamwalker up until now, which kind of had crossover with another unrelated thing that we did. So I'm glad that we ended up on Dreamstalker. I think that was yours, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, that was a change. That was an executive decision on my part. I know you didn't like using Dreamwalker there.
Yeah, that was a good shift. This is, I think, kind of one of the things that's going to make this creature most interesting as like a set piece almost, and kind of creating and harbinging the creature, which is that you can know the location and cast dreams, and it can cast dreams on any creature, even if it doesn't know them personally, within a mile of itself. So if you're in the general territory of the Shimmywanga, your dreams start to be influenced by the creature, which is, I think, a very a fun story beat to lead up to eventually having to fight this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then beyond that, it has some cool spell casting options. Namely, the big ones that I really like here are the dream spells, right? It can literally go into dreams. But it also has a couple other really interesting ones, like etherealness, which kind of, I guess, works for us in that weird dream space kind of vibe. Enthrall and blink, which are both really cool potential combat spells. Enthrall, which forces creatures to look at it, and then it has its resplendent mantle. And then blink, which causes it or allows it to teleport out of existence, right? To disappear back into its dream space. And then when it reappears, right, if creatures have readied actions, they'd have to look at it and be affected by that dazzling mantle feature. So it's just a fun, unique actual combat implementation, right, on how this creature would play differently as a threat for your party to overcome.
And I think, against a party that doesn't have a good wisdom saving throw, kind of collectively, to deal with that dazzling chaos, I think this is a really threatening encounter.
Yeah, well, it's a CR 14 creature, and really it's probably closer to its high CR 14, close to CR 15. But it's a pretty scary beast, scary fae rather. I love that too because there really are not a lot of high CR fae creatures in this game. So this is also unwittingly like a missing niche that we've really fulfilled.
In the same vein, there's not a lot of fae creatures that are intended as hostile encounters, which is another one. I feel like most of the fae are like, it's
They're
a
all
pixie to be friends with. Yeah, it's just a bunch of hags and those mean locks. It's like the only ones I can think of. Red.
Yeah, but mean locks are like
there's so few of them, so few fae combatants. So and then the Enter Dreams is kind of like it's capstone almost. It feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take this one, Jeremy?
Yeah, and this is just a fun way that we thought could make a fight with the Shimmywanga, this monster, into a more engaging or more frightful experience, like legitimately concerning and stressful, which is something that, like, it sounds bad, but those kinds of experiences are what makes combat dramatic and exciting. And so what this does is it lets the Shimmywanga enter into a charisma contest with a creature, and when it does so, if it succeeds, it can sequester itself within that creature's dreams and psyche. So it disappears and then can't be attacked, and it's just in your head. And while it's there, it can haunt your dreams. It can see through your eyes and see what you see. It can't control you or anything like that. This isn't like a ghost possession. But it's kind of the idea where, like, in a lot of games, there'll be the big boss fight, and then, oh no, the room's collapsing, and that's the scary kind of phase 2. In this monster, right, it's like, oh geez, that's a terrifying thing. We're stunned all over the place, and it's like terrifying. And then it's in someone's head, and it's like, oh my god, this could just come out of your head at any moment and try and kill us again, right? This becomes a very
and the way that the dream spell functions, which is kind of what it would use to really haunt someone while they're in someone's head, it makes it so you essentially can't rest. So this becomes almost like a it kind of like what's the chaotic neutral frog things, Jeremy, that exist in limbo. Sloths. It's kind of like a sloth egg, where you finish the encounter, but you do have an egg in your stomach, and you're like, oh well, I'm not going to make it much longer unless we get rid of whatever this is and find a way to do it. So has that kind of put the clock on you too.
Yeah, I really love the way this came out. In the end, I think this is a really unique and actually incredibly exciting combat encounter. As a dungeon master, I will use this.
Yeah, I'm already planning on using this creature. Like, I actually really like this Shimmywanga and how it ended up.
Absolutely. It's just a very frightening enemy. I love the origins of it. Frankly, I'm a big sucker for good lore, and I really like this lore of how they were banished to the realm of dreams and they're just kind of trying to escape. I really like that desperation aspect to this creature, because I think in what we wrote there, the intent, right, is to give gas to GMs, right? The Shimmywanga is like the players are battling it, and then they go to finish it off. It hides in someone's dreams, and the whole time it's just trying to make deals. It's just pleading like, but wait, if you didn't fight me, right?
I'll teach you the ancient secrets, like.
Exactly. I know things. I can find whatever you wish in other people's dreams. Right. I think that's a very cool, like, desperate manipulative bargainer. That could just be a fun thing to explore.
I could also see some fun play of it, like if it's in someone's head, it tries to escape to someone else's head while it's in that head, and just jump in and like get away with
just tries to escape in the crowd,
or like try to find the weak link in the party that will, like, maybe they can convince to aid them in some way, or there's just a lot of things that you can do with it. One last note for people who were here building it during Monster Mash last week. I know there was we had a lot of lore about specifically how they interacted with beholders that we were talking about, and the way that they manipulate beholders. We kind of, I didn't want to let you know that we didn't disclude that, because I feel like I'm still personally going to use a lot of that, but we just have really reduced it down, rather than we don't want to tell people that you have to use the Shimmywanga to make a party come and fight a beholder. Rather, it's just beholders are good prey for this creature.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we wanted to leave it as open as we could to dungeon masters to do what they want with it, right? To use this in a way that is exciting and engaging to them. I very much like this.
Yeah, I got big plans for Shimmywanga in my own time. But
And
yeah,
yeah, that's
that's
about
all
it
I
for the
have to say.
Shimmywanga.
Yeah. That's all I got on Shimmywanga as well. It was a very
Your
successful first monster mash.
your volume's a smidge low. Is your mic in a funky spot?
Let me see if I can get a better
That's
angle
already
on it
better.
here. This I assume is significantly. It was just facing the wrong way.
Yeah, much better. All right, so that's Shimmywanga. Again, you can find this on our website. We're gonna post like links to all this stuff in the Discord. We just haven't quite yet. So yeah, thanks a lot everyone for being part of this creative process last week, and it was a lot of fun. And thank you, unrelated to Featherfail, for following. We appreciate appreciate your support and follow. Thank you.
I saw your comment before about Fluffins. When you said Fluffins are a wholesome creature, I immediately thought, like, if you hadn't written wholesome, I would have known just by the name Fluffin that they were a wholesome creature.
I like that they can heal by snuggling.
That's
it's kind of like very cute.
Just like real animals can spiritually heal you, but
like, it's true though.
It's true, yeah.
So we had another creation. This is by Frosty Pirate. It's the Dream Eater Shade. This is what Frosty came up with while we were. I mean, Frosty, you're contributing to the Shimmywanga as well. But Frosty created this as their take on a monster that would hunt the Beholder. And this is, I think this is very interesting because you went in a very different direction, Frosty. You went with a CR5, much lower challenge and threat than the Beholder. And I'm really interested to see where that came out. You want me to start on this, Peter? Or do you want to take a?
I'll take this. I'll take this flavor text here, which is drifting through the ethereal plane. The Dream Eater Shade hunts down powerful magical intelligences. It hides within their shadows and waits patiently for sleep to come. Once a creature becomes unconscious, the Shade prey upon them, possessing their minds and draining their intelligence. Once the creature loses sentience, the shadow leaves their mind and returns to the ethereal, hunting for its next victim. Very crisp, and I have a very clear understanding of what this does.
Absolutely. I am wondering a little bit about like their origins and whatnot, but excuse me, that's obviously a much bigger question.
Yeah, there's certainly more detail that I think could be put in this, but as far as just getting the idea across, I think he did so very efficiently.
Yep. So talking about the actual monster, I like that you gave this a pretty low challenge rating. I mean, not challenge rating. Well, yes, challenge rating, but armor class of 12. This is a definitely like fairly easy to hit monster, which can be a big problem when a lot of people make homebrew creatures. They tend to be like, oh, I want it to be big and scary, and it ends up having everything and not really having the weakness. So I like that you went with a choice of kind of deliberately giving it that weakness.
Especially where it has quite a few resistances as well. So if it gets if it gets hits a lot, it's probably still going to be able to not just be over in an instant.
Yeah. You gave it like a whole bunch of resistances. I'm wondering, did you base those on maybe like the Wraith or something? I'm not super familiar with a lot of those undead.
I feel like that this is taken from the Shadow in a lot of ways. I'm not certain about what the Shadow. It has the same resistances as the Shadow and vulnerability and immunities. Because this seems in a lot of ways. I mean, aesthetically, it's a creature that goes into shadows, so it's sort of like a souped-up Shadow in a lot of ways.
And awesome, kind of just from a design perspective, awesome thought to do that, right? If you know you're making a creature that's like a creature that already exists, start with the creature that already exists as your springboard and work from there. Save yourself a whole lot of time and effort. Just being like, all right, I want a creature that's made of shadow. Here's a creature that's made of shadow. Plop its resistances and stuff down, and you're already a huge chunk of it's all good. Let's see. Amorphous. All right, so it can go through space. That makes total sense. Etherealness. Oh, okay. It can enter the ethereal plane.
Material plane or vice versa is.
And it has advantage to hide while in darkness. Yep.
It's got the shadow camouflage and sunlight weakness like the Shadow. It has, if you shine a light on the Shadow, it disappears, which is taken very much from the Shadow, and it makes a lot of sense naturally for this as well. But the key feature of this creature seems to be this dream possession here. So let's take a look at that. It affects one unconscious creature that the shade can see. It has a charisma save, and then they possess the creature. Uh, the shade then disappears, and the target remains unconscious and loses the ability to. Oh, that's very
Ooh.
threatening. Um, can't be targeted by any spell attack. It retains its alignment, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, and immunity to charmed and frightened. Otherwise, it uses the possessed target statistics, but doesn't gain access to that target's knowledge. Class feature proficiencies. The possession lasts until the body drops to 0 hit points, 0 intelligence, or the Dream Eater ends it as a bonus action. Or the Dream Eater shade is turned or forced out by an effect like the spell Evil and Good spell. When possession ends, the Dream Eater shade reappears in an occupied space within 5 feet of the body, and it's immune to the possession for 24 hours. So, borrowing a lot of the ghost text here, which is actually I borrowed that same text for use on the Shimmywanga's head.
One thing I'd recommend, I love the direction you're going, but from my understanding, the intention here is that it affects an unconscious creature, and that creature is just permanently unconscious until the other player can do something about it. This is almost like a puzzle, right? Oh my goodness. So the NPC can't wake up, right?
Yeah.
So that's very exciting. I don't know. I think when you start talking about like statistics and whatnot, like it uses the target statistics, that makes me think, well, if it's unconscious, it's not really using those statistics. I mean, I guess that works for like armor class and stuff.
Yeah. It
but I guess that's like a place where I would maybe try to clarify in the language if you were still if you're working on this one.
Possession might not be the mechanic for this. I think you can borrow the text of the creature disappearing, but you might want to just have it be while the shade is in whatever the state that you want to call it this is, the creature, remains unconscious and can't wake up, or it does whatever the thing does, rather than worrying about the baggage that you don't need here. And one other concern is, because it seems like the other core thing is, while you're possessing an unconscious creature, Dream Eater Shade can eat their intelligence and deal 2d4 necrotic damage and reduce the target's intelligence score by 1d4 plus 1. So this does actually feel a little bit like, I mean, theoretically, you're using this on a sleeping creature. And so if you want this to just be something that kills beholders as like an NPC thing, then it works well. But if this is something that would never be used against a player, it is kind of a save or die. And just kind of like die in the night.
Yeah, I think that's a little funky as like an action, because action is something you use in combat, and this doesn't at least super feel to me like an in-combat creature.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you don't have any things that affect conscious creatures.
Yeah, it actually doesn't have an action it can take.
Yeah, so I think maybe this would be like, each night at midnight it does 2d4 necrotic damage and reduces this intelligence score by whatever. That might be a direction to go for it. If you wanted this to be a more like longer term, almost puzzle enemy. But either way, I think I would still give it a like shadowy claw attack or something like that, just so that when the players do oust it from the NPC's mind,
yeah,
or more frighteningly, one of the players' minds.
Yeah, one of their minds.
There's like some sort of a little fight to go with it.
This is the kind of thing that most players would really hate to die to.
Oh yeah.
Maybe even more so than the typical intelligence reduction thing, just because of the it happened while they couldn't.
Well, all the players love when I use my intellect devourers.
Intellect devourers are okay. I actually don't hate intellect devourers that much. I mean, like, they're just very scary and you have to get them, but they're just little guys that you can poke. But this is, you don't have that ability to like fight where it feels like you at least rolled and then got to resist it. So, I mean, you make the save, but.
However, this is a really great way to kill that paladin. No charisma. No adding your charisma to your saving throws while you're unconscious, buddy.
Oh,
I'm just teasing. Much better than dying to fluffins. That's true. Oh my goodness, snuggled to death. That'd be a struggle right there.
The Paladin Slayer. But that's the Dream Eater Shade. And definitely this could dunk on a beholder. I can really see that for sure.
There's actually a very, very cool, like, it's weird because it fits into like it's a monster, sure, definitely a monster, but it feels like a puzzle too, and I like that a lot. So
Yeah,
I
I like
appreciate you sharing it.
certainly. Yeah,
Very
I
much.
do like content and monsters that engage not just as a tactical challenge, but as a that's just good game design right there. So
Absolutely. And of course, this is created by Frosty Pirate. Frosty shares all their stuff on the D&D Time Discord. You can go there by visiting our website, dndtime.stream, hitting the menu button, and clicking the link to Discord. Uh, but yeah,
indeed, you can.
so that was the kind of, I think from what I'm aware, if anyone else created another Beholder Predator, we aren't aware of it yet. So please share it on the Discord.
Yeah,
But
let
I
us
think
know.
that's it between the Shimmywanga and the Dream Eater Shade. Those are the cool creatures we came up with for our
First Monster Mash.
first Monster Mash, exactly.